Alright, last fight night before UFC 321. It is RDR versus Brendan Allen in Canada. Brendan Allen sipping in for Fluffy. This is still a pretty good fight, even though the original booking was gonna be a pretty good fight. This is still pretty good. Brendan Allen's still pretty good. RDR is on a winning streak in the UFC. But either way, this is taking place in Canada, so we're gonna be getting a lot of Canadian fighters, your usual Mike Malott, your Ayman Zahabis, etc. These fighters you only see on the Canada cards. Funny enough, this card is much better than I would say it's much better than the JDM versus Belal card or the Sean Strickland DDP Canada card. This is actually a pretty good card, pretty underrated. A lot of good matchmaking. But yeah, let me stop rambling. Let's just go to the first fight of the night. Women's bantamweight, Croden versus Lisboa. Croden, she's making her debut, the first Canadian of the card, coming from LFA. LFA is not a bad promotion. If you're gonna make your way into the UFC, it actually sets you up pretty nicely. A lot of UFC fighters come from LFA. But either way, she's actually a pretty good striker, pretty nasty knees. She done like a 6 or 7 knee combination on her opponent and finished her. So go watch the fight. That was a pretty nasty combination. Either way, she has a couple finishes, but she did lose to this one fighter. I think Jacqueline Cavalcanti. And Jacqueline Cavalcanti is actually doing pretty nicely in the UFC. She's like undefeated in the UFC. And that was a close fight, so it's not a bad aging loss for Croden. But yeah, Lisboa, she is like, I think she's like 2-1 in the UFC. Her last fight, she got ragdolled pretty badly. She got out wrestled, dominated. So there's that. I don't remember who it was, but I remember it was not a bad loss. I think the fighter she lost to is doing pretty good in the UFC as well. But before that, her second last fight, it's been like 2 years since then. And that fighter she beat only fought once in the UFC and retired. So either way, even though it's not a bad loss for Lisboa, her last fight, it's not looking too great for her. Like visually, her performance-wise, and her resume-wise, it's not aging too well. And so, I'm be going with Croden being the fresher fighter and actually having decent striking. Lisboa kind of is like an NPC, the NPC WMMA fighter, which are, they punch like this. But either way, I'm gonna be going with Croden securing Canada their first Canadian win of the card for the night. Next up, middleweight, Azamat Bekoev versus Yusri Bulgari. Another amazing matchmaking. I love this fight. By the way, Azamat 2-0 in the UFC, 2 finishes. Who did he fight? He fought Zachary Reese, took him down pretty nicely. Zachary Reese has negative grappling, so not much to say from that. But either way, he took him down and ground and pound finished him. Azamat has nasty power. He fought someone else. I forgot who. But either way, in that fight, his striking was looking not that good. He only was striking in that fight. He did get the KO finish, but even though he got the KO finish, he was getting tagged a lot. And that's because when he strikes, he kind of strikes like a WMMA fighter with like hooking shots, just elbows out, chin up in the air. Even though Bekoev, even though Bekoev got the finish, he didn't look too great. His striking looked pretty bad. But either way, he is coming from like the Russian Caucasus mountain region. Bekoev is a Russian Muslim sounding name, so I'm guessing he has pretty good grappling. So it is looking kind of scary for Yusri. Yusri, if you know, he fought at Glory. He only lost to 3 fighters in Glory. He lost to like this one dude, I forgot who, Izzy and Alex Pereira. Those are the only 3 guys he lost to in Glory. Pretty crazy stat. He only lost to 2 UFC champs, 2 Hall of Fame UFC fighters. So it's not bad losses at no means at all. And his training partner right now is Alex Pereira. And that is looking pretty good for Yusri. The thing is, Yusri's style is not that great and isn't translating too well to MMA because Yusri has like no power at all. Like he does get finishes, but they're kind of like from TKO finishes. They're not really like set up one punch power KO finishes like a Izzy or Alex. He needs to like land like a huge combination just to wear down his opponent just to get a finish. And that's also how he fights in Glory. He also has to like melt down their opponent just to win a fight. The thing is, usually he's pretty big and he has a very long jab that he lands very nicely. That's his best weapon, is his jab. He landed pretty nicely on Alex, on Izzy. And even in his last Dana White Contender Series, he was landing that jab a lot. He also fought earlier. That was the second Dana White Contender Series. The first one he fought Marco Tulio and lost by decision. That's actually not bad loss, losing by decision to Marco Tulio. That shows, Marco Tulio, that loss is aging pretty nicely for Yusri. So There's that. Usually, he also in his regional fights, he seemed to have pretty good takedown defense. He defends the takedowns pretty nicely. He also reverses his opponents. He is pretty big at middleweight as well. He's 6'5". Also, even though with the rare chances he does get taken down, he actually does do a pretty good job of getting up. Granted, that is the regional scene, so it's not, doesn't really say too much. That saying usually has like all pretty good takedown defense. But he is training with Alex, like I said, so maybe Alex is teaching him how to be a good anti-grappler. And I don't know if he trains with Glover. If he does, then that's pretty good for Yusri. But he is a sparring partner of Alex Pereira. Now, Azamat is negative 300 in this fight, and for very normal reasons, Azamat is coming from that like that Russian Caucasus region of Russia. He's gonna have the grappling advantage in this, and even though Yusri is defending the takedown to end the regional scene, this is a big test for Yusri, especially for his debut. He's fighting a stylistic nightmare, basically a grappler with horrible striking. If Yusri can defend Azamat takedowns, which he's shown to have good takedown defense in his fights, he could beat Bekoev. And the thing is, usually only losses in the UFC are by decision. And the thing is, yes, he does kind of, because he has pull-up punches, he kind of struggles and brawls. Fighters that go straight like that don't get dropped by his punches, keep pushing forward and pressure Yusri. And that's where he struggles and loses the fight and gets very patient. If Yusri is really taking his fight seriously, he's taking his MMA career seriously, he could defend Azamat's takedowns and outstrike Bekoev. And that's what I'm banking. I'm banking on Yusri training with Alex, having that experience, and beating up Bekoev to a decision win, a close decision win. I feel like this is going to be very close, but I think Yusri is going to be able to get it done and get the decision win. So yeah, I got Yusri. Next up, women's bantamweight, both coming off a loss. Luciano versus Oliveira. They're pretty good fighters. They're pretty I say pretty good, but they're actually kind of mid. They're, NPC WMMA fighters. So for that, I'm going to be doing this. Whoa. Okay. For a second, I thought it was going to be Oliveira. Well, I'm going to go with Stephanie Luciano. 50-50 match. Stephanie Luciano for the win, decision win. But yeah. Next up, lightweight Kyle Prepolec versus Drew Dober. If you remember, Kyle Prepolec got re-signed in the UFC. He did pretty badly the first time around, and when he got firstly signed to the UFC, got cut, went on a winning streak against Cans, got re-signed, and fought against BSD for his re-debut. Just saying, if you look at my BSD versus Rufi analysis, I kind of insinuated BSD has better grappling than Islam Makhachev. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but either way, I do think BSD is a very, 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 very good grappler. And I think that was a fluke loss to Meccano as well. Fluke loss, in my opinion. But anyways, going back to Kyle Prepolec. Kyle Prepolec surviving BSD for one round is actually pretty impressive. But I don't know if that translates to him being stylistically being able to take down Drew Dober and just out-grapple him. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to, be a Mokaino. Mokaino took down Drew Dober for 3 rounds and beat him like that. I don't think Prepolec is going to be able to use a grappling style to beat Drew Dober. And Kyle Prepolec is not that good as well. He got re-signed. He got on a winning streak, but it was against Cans. And yes, this is a step down from BSD. A step down in competition, Drew Dober. But the thing is, this is still a little bit too high up for Prepolec's skill ceiling. And there's still another bad matchup for him. Props to Kyle Prepolec taking Drew Dober, taking on a Drew Dober in Canada. There's a really good match, but I think there's a little bit too much for Prepolec, a little bit too high his pay grade. He needed another can at the UFC for this to make sense. I don't know why Drew Dober took this. How did he got this fight? But either way, Drew Dober, even though he's being chinned left and right by some Mexican, by John Silva, got out wrestled McConnell, and I forgot who else he fought. He got dropped out. He's still very good. He's still very explosive, very quick. I think he's gonna be too much for Prepolec. He's gonna be able to pressure Prepolec pretty nicely and beat him. Maybe finish him, 3rd round finish. But I'm gonna be nice to Prepolec. I'm gonna say Drew Dober beats him by decision, a decision win. Next up, middleweight Danny Barlow versus Santos. Danny Barlow coming up from welterweight, so he's gonna be having that lighter man skill. He gets a little bit flat-footed, but he has pretty quick hands, a lot of power. Santos lost to Ozzy Diaz. That is not a good thing at all. And the thing is, Danny Barlow is coming up from welterweight, so he's gonna be having that lighter man skill. But not only that, he's 6'2", and Santos is 6 foot. So Barlow is much bigger. So he's much bigger and has lighter man skill. So that's gonna be an easy win for Barlow. There should be like a minus 500 in my opinion. But yeah, Barlow, first round, second round finish. Next up, Bruno Silva versus Park. This was a pretty good fight. Bruno Silva, Park, they're both well-rounded. They're both finishers on the feet and on the ground. So it's going to be a really good fight. I'm excited for this one. Bruno Silva, he has pretty good boxing. But the thing is, he only strikes in a forward line. So when he fights someone that pivots a lot, he struggles. And the thing is, Joshua Van, Manuel Cape, they pivot a lot. They slip a lot. And when they have a fighter in front of them that just goes in a straight line, they can tee off on a Bruno Silva pretty easily. Bruno Silva's pretty good, but that's his problem. He fights forward in a straight line. And so Park, he's also another well-rounded fighter. He has a bunch of submission wins, a bunch of KO finishes. He also has boxing fundamentals. But the thing is, I want to say he's like a Joshua Van. Joshua Van is a little bit more different. Like I said, Joshua Van pivots, he slips. Park, he is more of a longer range fighter where he uses his jab to set up his punches rather than slipping and hooking. He uses his jab to set up his punches, and he's a little bit more different than Joshua Van. He's still a very good boxer, but I would say Joshua Van is a little bit more better, and I would say Park's style, I think he's not gonna be able to like pressure Bruno Silva like Joshua Van is gonna be able to. Park, I feel like it's gonna be a 50-50 match. But I think Park, because Bruno has been getting chinned a lot, like getting hurt a lot, and Park has power, like actually good power. In those exchanges, I think Park is gonna get the better Bruno Silva. They're gonna be landing kind of evenly, but I think Park is gonna be landing more damaging punches, the bigger significant strikes, and I feel like Park is gonna get a decision win against Bruno Silva. Decision win, good win for Park. Even though he did lose to Tatsuro Taira is pretty good, but Park is also pretty good. But yeah, it's not a bad loss for Park against Tatsuro Taira, and I got Park winning by decision. Last up, the last fight of the bantamweight, of the prelims bantamweight, Charles Jourdain versus Davy Grant. I mean, Jourdain is pretty good. He has a versatile striking, a deep tool bag in his strikes. He kickboxes like a CKB fighter as well. You look at it. He like, it looks like he trained with like Izzy and those other guys, Olberg. By the way, good kickboxing, good striking. He has a nasty guillotine choke as well. He has like 3 to 4 like guillotine chokes in the UFC. So he is pretty good. The only thing he suffers from is pillow punches. He has like zero power at all. He has no power at all. I don't know how he lacks that. He when he punches someone that he heals the dude in front of him more like it. And he was doing a good job against John Silva, keeping distance. He has good distance management. It's just when he landed on John Silva, he couldn't do anything. And John Silva is John Silva. Like, no doubt he was gonna KO Jourdain in the second round, I think. He was not gonna win at all. But Jourdain, even though he was looking decent at that fight. Now, Davy Grant, I can guarantee you that your average MMA YouTuber is gonna be choosing Davy Grant as an underdog just to be different. I truly don't think Davy Grant is gonna be able to beat Jourdain. Davy Grant has nasty body punches. He has power, but his striking is not as good as Jourdain's striking. And yes, Davy Grant could pressure Jourdain, and because Jourdain has no power at all. But I feel like Jourdain is gonna be able to have the better footwork and keep his distance, because Jourdain, he's very good defensively responsible, and so he doesn't really leave himself too much into these these firefights where he just leaves himself exposed a lot. If you're fighting against someone like John Silva, he's gonna find the openings. He's not gonna he's gonna find the openings while you're covered up. So Jourdain is very good. He's very calculated, and I feel like he's gonna be able to outpoint Davy Grant on the feet, keep his distance. And he has very versatile striking, so he could actually piece up Davy Grant on the feet. Kind of like a what was it, Daniel Marcos. Even though David Grant, I kind of feel like he did beat Daniel Marcos. Jourdain is a better striker than Daniel Marcos, and so I'm gonna go with Jourdain by decision. Decision, no KO. He has no power, and maybe he can get the submission on David Grant, but I got Jourdain winning against David Grant. David Grant is a big underdog when it comes to like, if you're gonna bet on an underdog, he is a big fighter. I mean, he's like a big chance to win type of fight. So yes, it makes sense why your favorite MMA YouTuber is gonna be choosing David Grant, but I got Jourdain. The first fight of the main card, Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frevola. Kyle Nelson coming up from featherweight, so he's gonna be having the lighter man skull. But the thing is, Nelson kind of fights like a middleweight or like a welterweight, where he is very flat-footed. He very basic striking, just 1-2s, kick, like head kicks, body kicks, and that's it. Like, he doesn't really have anything going on. He's very simple, very basic, very not that quick. And Matt Frevola, he kind of is like that Michael Chandler, the Anthony Hernandez, that Drew Dober type of archetype, where like they're kind of short but they're very stocky and they have power. And yeah, I feel like Matt Frevola, even though he's a lightweight and he's smaller than Nelson, Matt Frevola he's very skilled, and I feel like he's gonna be able to pressure Nelson's very patient style, very like slow footwork style. Frevola's gonna pressure Nelson pretty badly, and I feel like Frevola's gonna KO Nelson in the second round in the tight guard against the cage, because Frevola has like a couple finishes in that position where he held his opponent up against the cage. They're like swinging, and Frevola is very accurate in that. He's like a Max Holloway, and we know when Max Holloway points the last 10 seconds, he starts brawling. He's like Matt Frevola's like that, but like within the rounds. But yeah, I got Matt Frevola chinning Nelson second round. Yeah. Cody Gibson versus Aoriqileng for bantamweight. Cody Gibson is pretty good. He has decent striking, decent grappling. Aoriqileng he's okay. But the thing is, Cody Gibson has pretty good. I don't know if you see it when he fights, but he like dips down a lot to his like right side, very, very deep, and so he like avoids punches doing that. But he also does like the whole depth thing to like set up his takedowns. And I don't think Aoriqileng is gonna be having the fight IQ to like adjust to that, because technically if Aoriqileng is doing his film study, he can see, oh, Cody Gibson, he like dips down a lot to his right side. I can throw a knee or a head kick to that. But I don't know if Aoriqileng is smart enough to do that. And I'm not saying he's stupid or anything. I'm just saying some of these fighters are generally don't only fight just to fight. Like they don't study film, or they don't even adjust in the fights. And so I think Cody Gibson is going to be able to out-wrestle Aoriqileng. He's going to out-grapple him. It's kind of similar like a Raul Rosas Jr. versus Aoriqileng in the Noche night. But yeah, I got Cody Gibson out-wrestling Aoriqileng and submitting him in probably the second round, if not third round. I got Cody Gibson submitting him. Aoriqileng is a good striker. He has a nasty right hand, but I don't think that's enough for Cody Gibson. But yeah. Marion Fiorot versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. This is a pretty good fight. Actually, that's actually a pretty good fight. WMMA sometimes has some sleeper bangers, and this is one of them. Jasmine, I got Jasmine ragdolling Fiorot. I'm gonna be honest. I got her out wrestling her for 3 rounds. Fiorot, I don't know. She kind of gets taken down, and when she doesn't, all she does is hold her opponents down up against the cage, like she did that against Valentina. But yeah, I got Jasmine having the much better grappling and ragdolling Fiorot for 3 rounds. So there you go. Next up, bantamweight, Marlon Vera versus Amin Zahabi. Another good matchup. They're both kind of similar, where they both, how do I say this? They both can take a lot. They have both good chins. Marlon Vera has a very good chin. Amin Zahabi has a very good chin. Both got dropped from like nasty punches. Oh, Amin Zahabi got dropped by a Jose Aldo head kick and survived. They both have really good chins, basically. I mean, Marlon Vera has better striking, to be honest. Marlon Vera has better striking. Quick 1-2s, quick jab, quick leg kicks, head kicks, very quick kicks, basically. And Hamza Zahabi has like a weird Khabib style where like he walks forward, he's very flat-footed, he like walks, but like, he like flaring his arms out like this. He's like trying to like flare out like the punches in front of him, like just like tries to avoid him. Kind of like a Sean Strickland as well. Sean Strickland also does that, where he like walks forward and he's just like doing the whole like what they call the Philly shell, and just flaring his arms out when the like punches come in, just like deflecting them basically. And Zahabi does that. He like deflects punches just by flaring his arms out. And I think that's gonna be a big problem for Marlon Vera, because Marlon Vera is a very clean striker, but he's kind of a little bit patient. But the thing is, Marlon Vera, he loves to clinch, and I don't know if he's gonna be able to clinch against Zahabi where his arms are going like this. And also Marlon Vera, because he like likes to clinch, kind of like paws out. And I don't know, Zahabi has a very good jab. Both have very good jabs. They both have horrible head movement, and they both suck on the back foot. They're both kind of like very stylistically similar. Like both pressure fighters, both have good jabs. They're both like suck defensively. And when you have like a power puncher like against like a Figueiredo or a Sean O'Malley, Marlon Vera struggles a lot because he loves to go forward. But when he has a fighter that can also go forward with power, he struggles a lot. Zahabi doesn't have like that type of power, but he does have a pretty strong pressuring style, like a Sean Strickland, like pressure style, a pretty good pressuring style. I think Zahabi's pressuring style, the way he just walks forward, if deflects punches, and has a pretty good quick jab, I think that's gonna cause trouble for Vera for 3 rounds straight. Vera has a good jab, like I said, and Zahabi has no head movement, so Marlon Vera can hurt Zahabi. But Zahabi also has a good chin, and I think Zahabi is gonna be able to land more than Vera, and actually make Vera struggle a lot on the back foot. So I got Zahabi winning by decision. Both don't have. Zahabi's not gonna drop Vera. Vera's not gonna KO Zahabi. So I got Zahabi by decision win over 3 rounds. Next up, welterweight for the co-main, Kevin Holland versus Mike Malott. At welterweight, Kevin Holland's actual weight class. He's just coming down. He already came down already. He already fought, what's his name? Daniel Rodriguez. Good win. Who did he fight before that? He fought Luque. That was he lost to, Daniel Rodriguez. My bad. He lost to Daniel Rodriguez. Bad loss. Horrible loss, actually. He fought Luque. Pretty good win. Actually, a pretty good win. The Luque fight. But the thing is, he's very unreliable. And it's just hard to like choose Kevin Holland in these fights. Kevin Holland and Mike Malott are pretty similar when it comes to like, they're both very good on the feet and on the ground. They both have finishes on the feet and the ground. But Kevin Holland is a much better striker than Mike Malott. I would say Mike Malott has slightly better power, more quicker hands, if not. But Kevin Holland has explosive footwork. Like he like just boom, and out of nowhere he's in your face and just drops you. He has very, very long reach as well. But the thing is, he just has horrible boxing defense. He has like that Izzy syndrome where, he's like a kickboxer, but his boxing defense is horrible. Like it's just, he can't just, it's just, I don't know, his chin is in the same spot like sometimes, and he doesn't move it, and he just gets dropped like by Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel Rodriguez has really good boxing fundamentals. And yeah, even though Kevin Holland had really great moments and almost finished Daniel Rodriguez almost finished Kevin Holland as well in that fight. So it's not, it's like a give and take from that performance. But Kevin Holland's still very good. The thing is, this is Kevin Holland's 5th fight in the UFC. Now that can mean 2 things. Either he's very locked in, and even though he lost to Daniel Rodriguez, he keeps want to keep grinding to a title run, and that's why he's taking his 5th fight this year. Or he's only fighting for a paycheck, and that's why he's fighting 5 times a year. No in between. But the thing is, the way Kevin Holland has been moving after that Jackson podcast, the way he's been talking about really wanting to lock in and get himself a title run, a title shot soon. I do think is the first fight, not the latter, but the first option where he's very locked in and wants to get a title run, wants to get a title shot soon. And so I think this is not gonna be a stupid Holland where he's gonna be disrespectful and not respect his his opponent's striking, because Mike Malott probably is a better striker than Daniel Rodriguez. If not, they're kind of close, similar. They both have give and takes, but they're kind of similar when it comes to just like effective striking. On the ground, maybe Kevin Holland can submit Malott, but I'm gonna lean towards Holland. Like I said, I don't trust him, but I think he could actually do a pretty good job against Malott. Malott Yes, he was beating up Magny, but he got, that was a pretty embarrassing stoppage. I mean, pretty embarrassing like KO finish by Magny, ground and pound finish. He did get a two win streak after that, but it's not Kevin Holland, that type of level, type of opponents. I think Kevin Holland's gonna win this by decision. I don't see a finish. Maybe he does get a finish, but I actually gonna lean towards Kevin Holland. A locked in Kevin Holland does beat a Malott, and I think Kevin Holland's gonna be locked in for this one. I know that's stupid to say and redundant. Every single fight Kevin Holland gets in, he's like, oh, he's gonna be locked in, and then he turns out he's not locked in, and he gets his ass whooped. But I do think Kevin Holland's gonna be able to like get it done this time. He got it done against Luke. He got it done against, I forgot who else. I forgot his name. But yeah, I think he's gonna get it done. Get a win against Malott. Malott is pretty good, but he is not that good. Like, he's good, but not that good. And he's not as good as Kevin Holland, in my opinion. Kevin Holland is much better than Malott. Defensively, Kevin Holland struggles a lot, and Malott can legit find Holland's chin and just drop in dead. But I think a locked in Kevin Holland is going to be able to melt down a Malott before Malott finds Holland's chin and break him down. I feel like Kevin Holland's going to break down Malott for 3 rounds straight. If not finish him, but I'm going to go with Holland being a little bit more patient this time around and not like go look for a finish and get a decision win against Malott. Up for the main event of the card, RDR versus Brendan Allen. This is a very tricky matchup because technically Brendan Allen is very, very good. The thing is, he kind of suffers from Michael Chandler syndrome, where he is extremely skilled and physically pretty good. It's just he does some dumb mistakes in his fights that cost him the fight. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like, against Anthony Hernandez, against Imavov, he went to war with Vittori. Like, I don't know, like some of the stuff he does in these fights is just questionable. And realistically, Brendan Allen should be just outclassing these guys, but he's not. He has a dangerous grappling, but he is failing takedowns against Imavov. Like, he like easily gets Imavov down in the first round, and then just starts like he gets all his takedowns stuffed by Imavov in the second and the third. And that could also be said because Imavov is just that good. He adjusts in his fights, and Brendan Allen doesn't. But I don't know. Brendan Allen is really good. It's just he suffers from like low fight IQ sometimes. So RDR, he is very good actually, and his best weapon is those knees. He has nasty knees. He was landing them on Robert all night long when they fought. He broke him down, almost finished Robert in the second round. Actually, almost finished him. Crazy. He did get dropped by Robert, but that is Robert Whittaker. He does have that. He does have those hands. Kind of crazy to assume RDR is not gonna get like hit badly once by Robert in 5 rounds. And so there's another 5-rounder. Brendan Allen could also land that nasty shot, but I highly doubt Brendan Allen is gonna be able to be a aggressive or like an oppressive striker against RDR and not eat nasty knees. Especially those knees are pretty good for countering what they call takedowns. And I don't know, if Brendan Allen goes for a takedown and eats a knee, sheesh, that's gonna be pretty nasty to look at. I generally do think RDR is gonna finish Brendan Allen. But RDR, he did train with Hamza, or kinda. I don't know exactly how it went down. And there's a fighter out there that's gonna beat Hamza just by going off that. It is RDR. Stylistically, RDR has a stylistic matchup to beat a Hamza. Fluffy, we don't see Fluffy, his anti-grappling. I mean, we kind of did see against Brendan Allen. Fluffy like easily shucked off Brendan Allen's takedowns or reversals. He did a pretty good job reversing Brendan Allen. But a Hamza, we don't know how Fluffy is gonna deal with a Hamza. I feel like RDR is gonna do pretty good against a Hamza. He's gonna be do the best and not come close to almost beating a Hamza. I don't know. RDR Hamza, I feel like Hamza is gonna be a very dominant opponent at middleweight. But if there's anybody out there that could legit pose a threat to Hamza, it's RDR. And I think RDR was gonna be Fluffy as well. I also thought in the original booking, oh, RDR is gonna win this, and yeah, I got RDR by fourth round finish. He's gonna finish Brendan Allen in the fourth round. RDR is very dangerous. His worst performance, it was against GM3. Weirdly enough, I don't know how you have a worse. I mean, I guess I don't know. Actually, maybe the Robert performance was kind of worse, but he did have really good moments against the middleweight champ or Robert. So I don't know how much you can take up. I mean, I don't know. It's just a weird one to look at. But yeah, I got RDR finishing Brendan Allen in the fourth round by either submission or ground and pound with a knee, coming from a knee. Like he's gonna drop him with a knee and then just ground and pound him in the fourth round. So I got RDR by finish fourth round against Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's coming, he's stepping in for Fluffy. Yeah, this should be RDR that's locked in should be a Brendan Allen. So there you go. Those are my picks for the Canada card, Vancouver. Oh, Canada. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you guys stayed in, watched all the whole video. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and goodbye.